my mother's father, who was a great Torah scholar, he wasn't the type of guy that sat till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning every night and learned. Actually, he slept a proper night and therefore used his day better.
You are listening to the JP Show,
where we discuss the issues you care about from a Jewish perspective.
I am Rabbi G.
And I am Rabbi Levi.
And we hope you enjoy this episode. And here we are, another week. Welcome to another episode of the JP Show. I'm here with Rabbi Levi. Wherever you are, please subscribe, leave a review, and we'll dive into it. But we always do a quick week review. Looking very rested and
very
relaxed and relieved and all kinds of things.
That's right.
Yeah, it's been a good week. It was a good Shabbos.
It was a big Shabbos at
BINA.
BINA.
We had a big celebration for the miracles that have happened at BINA with our expansion.
That's right.
Which was really good. And now the work begins, the real work, the good work. A lot to do. In your week?
Yeah, it's been it's starting off well.
Have your kids gone back to school?
Kids are back in school.
Is it easier for you when they
Which,
go back
by the
to
way,
school?
it is actually is it easier for me in what sense? To get work done? Yeah, of course. It's interesting that next Monday is a public holiday, which is
You serious?
Which is great.
I get the sense Australia likes public holidays.
They do have public holidays. So Anzac Day is next week, and then the King's birthday is in a few weeks.
Oh gosh.
So
is the King's birthday the same as the Queen's birthday?
It is the same.
Oh, that's interesting.
That unbelievable
What a coincidence.
how that worked out. Yeah.
That was a joke, by the way. I do know how it works.
Yeah.
People shouldn't accuse me of ignorance.
Yeah. Yeah. So the week's been going well. I think the place is full of people learning, coming, and getting involved.
You know, it was really nice, the father and son program on
That's right.
on Motzei Shabbat.
It's a winter program we have that every Saturday night, every Motzei Shabbos, we have father and sons come and study together.
Actually, I brought a new dimension this week.
Now we had grandson as well.
I decided one of my resolutions last Rosh Hashanah. It's taken me 6 months to get it sorted out, but and I learned
which is a lesson in its own right.
Yeah. No, you mustn't give up.
That's right.
So I learned one of my grandsons, which is really nice. Your Shalom Ber, your son.
It's beautiful.
And I learned another grandson the day afterwards, and it's actually really good.
It's going well. So we are now in the time period of the year called Sfirat HaOmer, which means we have a commandment to count every day of the Omer, 49 days and which culminates in the festival of Shavuot, which is when we receive the Torah. It's a very interesting commandment. The commandment is every night after the evening service, we make a blessing and we say, tonight is this and this amount of days. And then the next night we do the same thing. And we just continue counting up until the giving of the Torah. Very strange mitzvah, actually. Many of the commentaries speak about this.
It is like
there's not much significance to it. Like when you eat matzah, you're remembering the story. The Jewish people left Egypt, but he said in the sukkah, you're remembering God's protection. Here we're just acknowledging basically that another day has passed. Essentially, that's what we're doing, and we're now entering a new day. So I wanted to discuss this mitzvah a little bit and see what personal growth lessons from a Jewish perspective we can learn. The first thing that comes to mind actually is interesting. One of the reasons given for this mitzvah is that the Jewish people, when they left Egypt, they knew they had a destination, and that was to receive the Torah. And they were so excited for this gift that God was about to give them, they counted. But what's interesting about
they were excited.
Yeah, they were.
That's the basic reason always.
Exactly. What's interesting about that is that we don't count down. Normally, when you're excited about something, let's say I'm about to go on a trip, I'll say I have 30 days left, 29 days left. Here it's we're counting.
They do it here, kids like 10 sleeps.
10 sleeps. Exactly. Yeah. Here it's like, it's 1 day of the Omer, 2 days of the Omer, 3 days of the Omer. Like you don't actually
counting up
sense where you're going. Like for all you know, you're going to count forever. You don't actually know. There's no clear ending point there. What's the significance of that?
No, yeah, I think that's such a good point. I think the idea is that when you, maybe it ties into the lesson of the Omer as well. When you count, like you're so excited about something, so you're counting down, so you're getting rid of the days. Like, okay, I'm closer, like 2 days left, 10 days left, 5 days left, 4 days left, right? When the Jews were counting, they weren't just counting like, okay, let's get it over and done so we can get there. They were actually counting with excitement and passion, but they're also counting in a preparation. They were elevating themselves each day. They were becoming closer to the goal in the sense they're becoming more spiritually prepared. So today's 1 day, 2 days. Now we have 3 days of preparation, 4 days of preparation until we get to the 49th day, which is
like when so I guess like when you're excited to go on a trip or something like that, the days between now and the trip seem like a waste of time to you.
They're
And
getting
if
in the way.
You want to get it over, like you can't.
You really want to do it today, but for some reason you
That's
can't.
right.
So therefore you got to get rid of the
This
time.
is different. It's not like we want Shavuot tomorrow. We acknowledge that the journey is part of it.
Yeah, which I think ties into the whole idea, the general idea of Omer counting, which is the idea of making every day count, making every day meaningful, right? So we have this idea that we're not just here to do good things. I mean, yes, we should be doing good things, and that's what life is about, live life, meaning and purpose, but it's also about utilizing each day as a gift, making each day work.
Right. So the value of time.
The value of time, the value of time, exactly.
Which, as it says, I think there's either a saying from sages or sort of more inspirational sources that a person, something to the effect of, I can't remember exactly how it goes, but to the effect that a person could get back money, but you can never get back time.
Right.
So it's one of the most valuable things we have, because if a minute's wasted, it's gone.
So therefore, that's part of the reflection. Like, it's one thing is to be a good person. Like, I do favors for people, I do mitzvot, or I do good things, but then I also waste a lot of time. So that's I'm not actually utilizing the gift that God gave me, right? So it's the idea of reflecting of how can I make each day, how can I make this day meaningful, but every part of the day. That doesn't necessarily mean that means every minute of the day I have to be. I mean, sleeping is part of making it meaningful too, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Taking a break sometimes if you need it. There's a plan. I mean, the plan is I need to be healthy, so I got to eat, I got to sleep, I got to take a break.
Do you think, this question just came to my mind now, do you think the older generation did a better job using their time? I'm thinking like about my grandparents. Actually, like both of them, both my grandfathers in different ways, but like, I remember them just like sitting and doing nothing. Like, there wasn't such a thing. Like, either one of them was a business and he was at work, or he came home and he studied Torah, and the other one was just always learning. Like, there was never just a...
Yeah, no, I think they did do a better job. I think, well, that's one reason. I mean, that they sort of appreciated the time better, I think.
Yeah.
But I think there's another concept also. I mean, there's so many ideas behind good time management and spiritual time management also. And that's about being present.
Yeah.
Like, when you're doing something, you do it like properly, and you're there. You're not thinking. Your mind's not racing in 50 different directions about thinking about the 17 million things you got to do or you want to do, and you're never actually present. You're never actually there.
Which actually leads to a very important point, that using your time right doesn't mean to rush through things to get to the next thing.
Not at all.
Because you would think maybe, I should rush this thing. I get the next thing. I'll use my time better. Like take an example of the old generation. Like, I don't think they. Even just in simple things like eating, I don't think they snacked, like, just by the way, like a meal was a meal, like lunch was lunch, morning tea was morning tea. It was like, it was an event. Like,
might have even drinking tea during the day was an event. Like, which, by the way, if you look in the Talmud has a lot of laws about eating and mealtime. It's like every meal is like a whole procedure. Like,
right.
That's because they were focused and they were there. Like
if I'm eating now, I'm eating now. Like,
it's much healthier. I mean, they didn't eat on the go. Like, kind of, like. Grab a snack. We think we're doing more that way, and actually, I think we end up doing less.
Yeah.
Right. No, there is a concept in Judaism called zrizut, which is like alacrity. In other words, getting things done, not procrastinating. Right. But that doesn't mean rushing. It's a very, very different concept.
Yeah.
It means when you're there, you do it properly. When you finish, you don't procrastinate for the next thing.
Yeah.
You go on to the next task or the next activity or the next experience without procrastinating and wasting time. But when you're there.
Yeah. I guess like also another thing that's interesting about using time properly and you see different people like do things differently. Some people, like they'll take on a project and they'll spend 7 days and they'll be awake a whole night and they'll they barely sleep and barely eat and it may seem like they're getting more done, right? But I don't know if that's true actually. I think, and it could be people are different and it could be depends. Like I'm just because I mentioned my grandfather before, my mother's father, who was a great Torah scholar. He wasn't the type of guy that sat till 2-3 o'clock in the morning every night and learned. Actually, he slept a proper night. and therefore used his day better. I think it's sort of a...
Look, yeah, no, he was amazing that way. Like he had order and kept
every
it
day was
order.
the same schedule.
Yeah,
and was
but he just used his time so well. Like he was fully there. Like he was, also, he never always when something would come up, you'd always get it done. Like let's just get it done.
That's right.
But I mean, look, people do have different personalities. Some people are more capable than others. Different ways of doing things. I don't think it's set in stone the way. I mean, some people do succeed with like getting immersed in something,
right?
Like 24 hours kind of thing. Look, it's different ways of doing things. But I want to share with you an idea. Maybe just something that came to me a few years ago. I once did a course on time management from a Jewish perspective. One of my Thursday morning classes. It was based on Stephen Covey. The 7 Habits for Effective People, and first things first. I think is one of the habits, and the whole thing. And I had a light bulb moment once where I developed this idea called time management with values, right? Because I think it's also important to understand what the purpose of time management is. So if we say time management is about productivity, that's one way of doing it, like to achieve more, or time management, the way we're talking about it here, is to make sure that every day is counted for and we make every part meaningful. What do I mean? So I had this experience, I'm not proud of it, but I have this experience where I was working on my time management, and I was really time management needs discipline. You have a schedule, all that kind of thing, right? And I was doing pretty well, and then I was turning around the corner, coming home once, and my schedule was being kept to, and I was very proud of myself that I'm keeping to my schedule. And I couldn't find parking.
Right.
And I went around the block, and there was like a mechanic, a car repair shop or something, and they used to hog all the spots on the car thing. And then as I was about to see a spot, they parked one of their cars there.
Yeah.
And I rolled down the window and I just lost it with the person. And it was not nice. I don't normally do that. But I was so focused on trying to keep my schedule, right? And I thought to myself, hold on a second, what's the goal of my time management, right? So, yes, I wanted to get stuff done, and for me, it was about keeping my schedule and getting things done, and I should be able to tick the boxes at the end of the day, saying that I've accomplished anything, but actually it's not about that. Time management value is also making your living with a meaning and purpose bigger, which also then requires the very same time management, which requires discipline, also needs flexibility.
Right.
It's not a moment of meaning if you lose it with someone. You need to know your call of the hour maybe was just have patience.
Yeah.
And be flexible and reconfigure during the day. Like it doesn't matter.
So it's not about getting done what you think was important to get done. It's important.
Exactly.
It's about getting done what is important to get done.
And it's about, I think, you look back at the day, it's not about I kept my schedule and I got so much done and I produced so much. It's about I stayed focused and I was present and I utilized the day well. And that could be that I chucked out part of my schedule and just was patiently looking for parking space and was disciplined enough not to lose it with the other person.
Yeah.
So I think that's an important thing from a Jewish perspective. Time management is so important, but one has to understand what the goal of that is. And I think the time management with values is a good way to look at it.
Yeah, for sure. What are other lessons we could learn from the counting of the Omer in terms of keeping time properly?
So one of the concepts that we can learn from that I always like to talk about is the following. And I'm not going to go through the nuances of the halachic debate here, but there is a halachic debate about whether counting the 49 days of the Omer is one whole mitzvah or each day is a separate mitzvah, right? And there's halachic consequences, like if you miss a day, can you count the next day, all that kind of thing, which we won't go into now. But I think there's an amazing lessons. I think philosophically speaking, I think they're both true. What do I mean by that? On the one hand, a person has to have long-term goals. A life mission statement. You have to know like where you're going, what are your values, what are you trying to achieve, what kind of person are you going to become, what's the meaning and purpose mean to you, what are you going to be able to, what are you striving towards, right? On the other hand, you also have to know that each day is separate. Like just because you messed up one day, okay, so you'll fix it, but that doesn't mean that tomorrow I'm done, right? Because although there is an overall long-term mission, but also each day is another opportunity.
Right.
So I think you can put those two opinions into the way we look at life.
And just going back to what you were saying before about flexibility and understand what the purpose of each moment is, that could be also the reason why the mitzvah of Sfirat HaOmer, counting the Omer, comes specifically after we leave Mitzrayim, because the whole idea of leaving Egypt, as we know, we've discussed this, I believe, that we all have our personal Egypt, which is like we're stuck in ourselves and our way of thinking and then sort of in our own little prison. And the whole idea of Pesach is to be free from that and to be able to connect to something infinite beyond yourself. Right. Maybe that is the necessary ingredient to be able to use your days properly.
Use days properly, and also when you need to be flexible to go out beyond your own rigidity, and not about what you want to do in the day, it's about what needs to be done and what God wants us to do.
Right.
And that sometimes is totally different to the way we planned our day.
Yeah.
But you're right, you have to leave yourself for that. You have to lose yourself. You have to let go of yourself a little bit.
Yeah. I think a totally different part of this, I think it's more relevant for communal people that run events and communal events. And I think this is something we do well, actually. Well, you can always improve in everything. And that is respecting other people's time.
Yep.
Understanding that, people have their own schedules and their own lives, and if they're dedicating an hour, they're dedicating an hour, not an hour and a half. And I think that's quite an important thing, actually.
Yeah, no, I think so. Actually, I had this discussion with someone last night at an event about respecting people's time, which means starting on time and also finishing on time.
Yeah.
Because someone comes to a class, for example, and they're dedicated an hour. They put aside an hour, but they didn't put away an hour and a half or 20 minutes, right? And I think even if you're in the middle of an idea and you need another 5 minutes, I think it's important to ask permission.
Yeah.
Like you say, is it okay if I go for another 3 minutes or 4 minutes? Because, people's time needs to be respected. But I think it goes to everything. I think there's so many good things in life which are good when you do it with humility and you also do it by respecting other people. I'll give you another example, like ambition. Ambition is it's another topic for another podcast, but ambition is a good thing.
Yeah.
But not when it undermines other people.
Yeah.
Sometimes someone's very ambitious and along the way they don't care who they hurt, who they undermine, as long as they're achieving their goal. That's a bad thing. That's bad ambition. Good ambition is when you're growing. You want to reach a goal, but you also respect other people's sensitivities and feelings along the way, and you don't undermine someone else because you want to get ahead and so on, all those things. So same thing, time management is good when it also comes with respect for others.
Yeah, that's great.
And therefore means, I guess, to translate that, even means if you're doing something slower, but you're doing it because you want to respect someone else's feelings or whatever, then that for that 20 minutes, you're living a life of meaning.
Yeah.
Using the time well, even though it might seem like it's such a waste of time, I had to talk to that person. No, if you have to talk to that person, then that's a great use of your time.
Right.
If that person felt good because you spent 10 minutes with them, even though for you it was a total waste of time and an unexpected change of schedule, you use your time well because you made someone else feel good. That kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Then we'll go use our time.
We should.
This is a very good way of spending our time, actually.
Yeah, that's always great to have discussions. And we'll see everyone next week.
Absolutely.